They're up here.
Should we do the show without Ken?
I think we should do it without
Gentlemen,
Ken.
are we ready to go? All
Pencil?
3 cameras are rolling. Is that camera rolling?
It is.
Pencil?
There's that.
Check. Can you hear it now?
Probably just the
Okay,
cord.
sound is recording.
Sound is recording.
Phones are unplugged. Spray booth is off. Phones are off. Look at the clock now on Joshua's clock.
It's on 9 o'clock even.
9 o'clock on the dot.
On the
Thank you very
dot.
much, Lionel. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready, buddy.
Thank you. Hey, Michelle.
Hey.
How about that?
We're doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're having fun.
Rock and roll. Somebody tell me how great of a hobby this is. I know.
World's greatest.
Awesome. Everybody smiling?
Yep.
Yeah.
Show number 66. Somebody give us a countdown and let's have some fun tonight.
3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, this is the What's Neat This Week podcast number 66, starting right now.
Cool. Do it one more time and tell us your name and go a little bit longer with it.
Hey everybody, this is Walker Embry. The What's Neat This Week podcast number 66 starts right now, guys.
Yeah.
I never get to open a show.
All right, Lionel, open it for me. Go ahead.
Open the show, Lionel.
Open it for me, Lionel.
Which one do you want me to do?
I wanted you to do 2, but first I want you to do number 66 right now. Go.
Okay. Hey, this is Lionel Strang, and you're about to watch Ken Patterson's What's Neat This Week, show number
66.
66.
The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. Additional support is provided by Athearn Trains. Check out all their new monthly announcements at athearn.com. And by Bachman Trains. Now that's the way to run a railroad. Check out their website at bachmantrains.com. Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast. This is the What's Neat This Week podcast / show number 66 for February 16th, 2019. Tonight we've got a great show. I've got sitting next to me right here, Lionel Strang, all the way from Canada. We love you, Lionel.
Hello, Lionel.
I also have my lovely wife,
everybody.
Michele Patterson, sitting next to me. We're going to learn what it's like to live with a model railroader tonight. I also have Michelle Kempema from the Colorado Model Railroad Museum. We've spent a few days touring some places here in St. Louis and having some fun. I've also got Sugarfire, Joshua Barton.
Hi, everybody.
And of course, our
Sugarfire.
favorite Daniel Coombs.
All right,
DCC Daniel.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's my title.
And I've got Campbell Rice over here. Welcome to St. Louis. Campbell, you've been doing a lot of traveling, haven't you?
A lot of
And
lot
you've
of
got
traveling.
you've got this great Luke Towan shirt on. We love Luke Towan.
There
don't
you
we?
go.
Tonight in new news, I want to start out right away with the George Celios fine scale miniature boxcar that we had put on eBay to raise proceeds for the Colorado Model Railroad Museum out in Greeley, Colorado. Michelle, tell me, how much did that boxcar end up selling for?
Oh, which Michelle?
Ken, I can help you here, buddy. Ken,
Lionel, how much did that boxcar sell for, brother?
I can tell.
I can help you here, Ken. Before the show started, I talked to the two Michelles, no waiting. So we'll call your wife, Michelle, and we'll call Michelle Kempema, Miss K.
I miss Kate.
Miss K.
I miss
How
Kate
we're going to
tonight.
differentiate.
Thank you very much to whoever purchased the boxcar. Tom Driggers, thank you for setting that up for us. The boxcar, in fact, did sell for $1,001. $1,001.77. I couldn't have made that number up, right? But the fact is,
It's
thank you so
amazing.
much.
And I want to say thank you so much to George. Thank you for doing that for the museum. It really means a lot. And thank you to whoever purchased that and everyone who's bought these boxcars. It just really means so much to what we're doing. So thank you.
It's absolutely fantastic. I couldn't have said it any better.
Absolutely.
So, Michelle, we've done a lot of running around town here. We went to the Transportation Museum in St. Louis County. That's a railroad museum where they have that favorite big boy you had to look at.
I had to touch my 5th 4,000. So that was the 5th one. So now I have 3 more to go. Thank you for taking me. That was really fun. That museum was really cool. It had a lot of real equipment sitting out there in really good shape.
Yeah, it does.
It had some really, really neat things. I really enjoyed my time there. It was a little cold. We might look a little cold in our pictures.
Daniel, did you feel cold, brother?
No, not at all.
That was fun, wasn't
they
it?
ran around with me. Thank you. It was so fun, and we got to go inside the cab of the 4006, and that was cool. That's the first time I've actually been inside the cab, because at the Forney you don't get inside it; you just get to look in it.
Oh, there you
So
go.
it's a little different. So that was new for me. So it was fun.
That was awesome. We also looked at microengineering this week. That is the track manufacturer that is here in St. Louis that arguably makes some of the best track in the hobby. I mean, very fine scale, code 70 and code 83 track, both in cement ties and wooden ties. A lot of great products from them. Michelle, guys, what did you think? You were all there with us for that. How about that?
I loved it.
I was drooling the whole time. Believe me.
I got my souvenirs. So when I go to places, I like picking up kind of the junk they throw away, like or parts they don't need. They'll give me like little things, and I have a shelf for this. But they gave me this little piece of flex track. These are the ties, because I wanted to know how they actually got the wood grain into the tie, because that's so small. And so Ron actually showed me the machine that they used to make their own molds for this, and how they used like a real artist drew all of their wood grain, and it's different.
It was really cool
It
to
was
see the
cool.
process and everything.
It was
It
very
was.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Kim is amazing, and because I'm a collector of small things, she gave me a little tiny gift bag with a teeny tiny shovel and a little lantern and a little work shed. And they showed us how they do their different kinds of molding. They have the kind where they have the wax in there and the wax melts out and then the metal goes in. And then they have the centrifuge kind where the metal gets sucked out just by the centrifugal force. And I was so fascinated with all the machines. And the guys were all like, is Michelle ever going to stop asking questions?
It was pretty neat.
It was.
It was really neat. What a neat company. And I really loved the visit there.
I just like seeing the machinery operate.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
cool.
That was neat. I tell you what, Lionel Strang, is this the best hobby in the world or what?
This is the best hobby in the world, and I've been so fortunate to meet all you guys. I love the contacts we're making now with the new social media.
Amen.
Oh, yeah.
We're bringing in the youth. The youth aren't necessarily looking at paper magazines. They are looking at the internet, and that's the best way to attract the youth into the hobby. And in fact, there's so many people that have realized model railroading simply by scanning and looking at the internet. It's one thing to go to a bookstore or somewhere like that where you can pick up a magazine and maybe thumb through it with all the other choices on the shelf. But it seems like the internet makes it more accessible for so many more people. We have met some great people. Phil Scott had contacted me this week through email. He lives in Castle Rock, Colorado, about 1.5 miles south of
close to
Greeley, right there at the museum. And he was inquiring with me about courtroom models. He said he really welcomed the opportunity to be able to make a living in his most favorite industry and hobby in the world, and that is building courtroom models for attorneys that are simply trying to prove a point. And us model builders have the ability to make the point obvious through our three-dimensional modeling. So Scott, I will call you up, Phil Scott, this week and talk to you on the phone. You left me a phone number. I will tell you everything I know about that business, but it's worth checking out. And honest, you'll do very well. Also, my father, Ken Bird, had sent some photographs this week of the Katy Depot. You saw those, Joshua?
Yeah, just last episode we had some footage of that on there.
And we looked at the prototype building, and he, in fact, has this model inside the museum, inside the station right there, and it's a very good representation of the building that we saw. So hats off to Ken Bird, my father, for sending us that.
I'd like to say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
How about you? Barry Silverthorne, a friend of Lionel Strang's up in the Great White up there. Barry sent us some interior kits, and we've got those on the table here this evening. And what these are, it appears, I think, Joshua, you were trying to explain to me that these are interior.
Yeah, they're on this poster board, and they're pre-cut, so you just fold them up, and they make the interior of a room. They got a little hole in the top of the ceiling that you can drop the different kind of lightings, whether you use the plug and play or a different kind, and they're all pretty detailed, so you have instant rooms.
This looks fantastic. Now, Michelle, you'll remember in the show we shot it in Caboose, you looked at Gerald Stiles' gas station and was complimenting about the interior.
I was. It was really cool. He had like this level of detail
Yeah.
inside it, down to like the pictures on the wall. Here's a radiator.
Yeah,
And the light switch. There's a
Exactly.
tiny light switch.
You know, look, there's an outlet right there, right next to the
Yeah,
lamp. You know,
it's
these are
the-
fully detailed, and if you don't have time to do all this all on your own,
And to me, these look like photographs.
yeah, and you fold
They're
them
like
up, and they're in 5
real.
minutes later.
Those are really cool.
That's absolutely awesome. One more thing that we did, we went to Sugarfire. We arrived a little late, but we made it.
It was delicious.
Well, I had the red carpet rolled out for you guys, but you were indisposed. So Mike Buddy and his wife came up and ate a little Sugarfire, and then you guys showed up a little after.
That's
and
absolutely
it was
fantastic.
amazing. If you have not eaten there, you need to eat there. It was, and I think Ken's got some B-roll, and my tray of food is massive, and I pretty much ate it. It was the whole thing. It was so good.
Dude, what a great place. Good cooking, a lot of friendly people down there, and what a beautiful restaurant you've got. It's well lit, great part of town, a lot of convention business.
A lot of conventions.
So for the
Cool.
2020 convention, we can all look forward to eating at Sugarfire when they had MRA National here in St. Louis.
That's right.
It'll be just 1 block away from you.
Exactly 1 block.
How about that? Now, Campbell Rice, you're with us this evening, and you had a few things you wanted to talk about tonight.
I have a few things. Most of everybody probably doesn't know, but I do quite a bit of traveling. I cover 16 states, so I'm sort of on the go all the time. And I was speaking with Ken some time back about, hey, why don't you let me have a camera and let me go out and photograph some of these things that I run across. So I think we've worked out a deal, and as I travel across my 16 states, I'm going to be filming some HO or in-scale layouts of that people model and some clubs, and hopefully I can bring them to you guys. That's sort of where I get my passion. I like to look at other layouts, see what people are doing, and try to learn from that. And that's how I model. I get my inspiration from other people's layouts. And I like to pass that passion on down to the younger generation. A lot of people say that, this hobby is dying. But, I think what we're doing here, and with the explosion of social media, I think this hobby is like a volcano. It takes a while for it to erupt. And I think that this hobby right now is smoking. And it's going to erupt one of these days. And what you've done here is created such an influence amongst a lot of people. I mean, I see Lionel wearing his Ron's Training Things shirt tonight, and Ron got a lot of his inspiration from watching your podcast and what you do.
How about that?
So I think that's important. And a lot of people ask, Campbell, why do you drive 5 and 6 hours to come up here from Arkansas to do this?
It's worth it.
And it's not because I want to be here. It's because I like passing my passion of model railroading down to the younger people and other people. I grew up in a small town where there wasn't a model railroad club within miles, but in my little small town, we actually had a museum and we had a model railroad. And I was 11, 12 years old, little rat running around, and those older guys took me in and showed me how to do things, how to build buildings, how to do scenery. And, that's my passion. I really enjoy doing scenery. And my idol is Pelle Soberg, which I hope to interview him in May.
We love
Oh,
Pelle.
but hold it. Time out. Who's your idol?
Pelle Soberg.
You wanna try
Okay,
again?
all right. One more time. Who's your
Yeah,
idol?
Try again.
Okay, one more time. Who's your idol?
All right, Ken Patterson.
That
No.
There you go.
You're supposed to say Lionel Strang. Because Lionel Strang won the award for the best audio-only podcast. And in fact,
Okay.
we've got the same award for the video podcast. Thank you very much, James Wright, for that.
And I'd like to just add that Lionel just won another award that's sitting
That's
right
right.
behind him.
I do have it. Hang on. Let me
Wait a
awkwardly turn
minute.
around
What do you
here.
got here?
He just received that award this last weekend, I believe.
That's right. It's the
Wow.
AML's Top Dog Award,
That's right.
and it's got a hot dog on top of it. And I won it. There you can see it right there. I'm the top dog, but I think I already knew that.
Rock and roll, Lionel Strang. We all love you, brother.
You know what? Next year we ought to give the Top Dog Award to Ken, because Ken is the top dog in model railroading.
All righty, and with that, I'm going to hand it over to Michelle because she's been handling a lot of our social media stuff on the What's Neat This Week Facebook page, and I think you wanted to talk about some stuff tonight, Michelle.
I do. One was really cool. Sean McGrath, who's 18 years old, sent us a picture of a Milwaukee snowplow that he custom weathered and painted. It is really cool. So we like that. And Everett Lou from South Africa sent us a message. And for those of you that keep saying we don't have N-scale, this is N-scale. And it's really cool. And he sent us a few photos that we're showing you. And he says he does 60% European and 40% American rolling stock on his layout. And he's freelance and he likes it that way. So I think we're going to really like him. And then other Michelle has something really cool to talk about.
Yes, there is a magnificent artist out there named Aaron Brockert, and he is magnificent. He will hand draw from a photo trains, really anything in the transportation industry, aircraft, motorcycles, watercraft. He uses colored pencils, charcoals, mechanical pencils, ink, and he will custom make your photograph into a piece of art. He really does make a vision into a work of art. And he has a website, aarontheartguy.com. Aaron is spelled with 2 A's. And he's just, we
were both really impressed.
Yeah, I was highly impressed with his website. He has some works for sale on his website. You can commission him to make your own. Just a really, really talented guy.
He is. He did the daylight, the 4449. I'm a little partial to it. We have that number board in our museum if you want to see it. His work is really great. We were just really impressed. I thought it looked like Chip Foose's work. I mean, it's really good.
You said that. I remember
So-
Chuck
That's the
Foose. Me and
that's
Joshua
the
were
first thing
all
I
over
said.
that.
I'm like, this is Chip Foose right here. It was really good. So
That's
that
really
was
cool,
awesome.
Michelle.
And then, Joshua, you've got one to tell us about.
Yeah, Justin Trains on the internet. He sent us a video this week, and during the video, the first time I watched it, I saw right in the corner, is that a What's Neat This Week billboard on his layout?
How about
And
that?
Really?
yes, it
Look at
was.
that.
How about that?
It
This is cool.
This is the best hobby in the world.
Oh my
right across
gosh.
this big old billboard.
I love you. Thank you for
Thank you
that
very
tribute
much,
on your
Justin.
layout.
Yeah.
I know. How do I follow that up?
I don't know. It was
If,
pretty cool.
if you have some cool stuff like that, make sure and send it to our Facebook page. It's What's Neat This Week Show on Facebook.
Yeah, and I check it. He checks it. He checks it. We all kind
She
of check
checks
it.
it more than all of us put together, but
Yep.
thank you,
But I'll
Thank
tell
you
if
for
you're
that.
talking to
Yes.
me.
We appreciate that so much. Campbell, were we going to cover anything else, or is this where I bring in Walker Embry and Kellan Marvin?
I had a couple more little things I wanted to cover. One is I picked up ordered this book this week, Model Railroading as Art, and it is truly, what caught me is the title. And model railroading is really art, and it's an art that you can enjoy from all different ages, from 5 to 90. And what other hobby can you actually do that in? And
Give us a shout out to who wrote the book, because we all love Lance.
Lance Mannheim.
We love you, buddy.
And
You
it's
are one of the best shelf
awesome.
layout builders out there.
Absolutely.
It is a great book, and I've really enjoyed it so far. I haven't finished it. And the other thing I wanted to say is the scale trains, carbon black car, where I grew up in Union City, Tennessee. We had a Goodyear plant, and we used to see these go in and out all the time.
wow.
And it was custom weathered by Weathered by Trains and Rob Barnett, and he did a wonderful job. So,
I have something to ask Campbell if I can.
yes.
When you're driving around on all these long trips, like, do you just listen to music, or what do you listen to while you're driving around?
You, of course.
Oh, okay, like my podcast.
He totally told me that earlier. He's not kidding. He told me that earlier,
Yeah.
that he listens to you, Lionel,
Perfect.
when he's
Perfect.
driving.
Yes.
And what's it called, Campbell?
A Modeler's Life.
Attaboy, now we're getting there.
It's What's Neat with Lionel Strang, isn't it?
That's right.
No, it's What's Neat with Ken. Ken, I want to say something right now, because I think Campbell, I've noticed as I'm watching the show from afar,
How
a
far?
little way, I'm a little ways
1,000
away.
miles.
I'm in the next room, actually.
There he is.
You know what people don't realize about you is that you're very welcoming. You know, you've mentioned Lance Mannheim, you mentioned Pelly Solberg, you've let me be on the show. You're very welcoming to the hobby. You're not solely concerned about Ken Patterson, and I think that's an important thing that we need to make sure everybody realizes.
I appreciate that, Lionel. Those are some very kind words, but you got to look around the table with me. I am surrounded with a lot of love. There's a lot of great personalities and talent that I'm surrounded by, including all the wonderful folks that have come tonight to visit with us. Look at that. We've got
Thank you,
5
everybody.
cameras. We've got Kellan Kellan, running camera over here. She's doing a documentary about her wonderful boyfriend, Walker Embry, and his, I'll tell you what, he's got a passion for trains, and she's documenting it. And it gets deep. She's talking about his political, his social, and his historical fantasies and how that all ties in with the hobby. That's a lot. That's a mouthful, Lionel.
Yeah.
I know,
It is,
right?
and did I say it right? Is that what you wanted me to say?
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yep.
Who else we got
Joshua's
over there? I
laughing.
see.
Joshua
Checks.
gets it.
The check's in the mail, sir.
I've
Thank
got
All
Mitchell
right,
running
perfect. Thank
camera,
you, buddy.
right? And we're going to talk about
got the
a big
McCune
production
here.
that we did this afternoon. But first, hats off. Look at that smile. Give me a big smile. All right. Now, we did a filming this afternoon. We spent 4 hours filming, what kit was it? It was the Benson Dime Store, 5 and Dime.
Five and Dime.
That's a Walters kit. We picked up 6 or 7 of those kits. We broke it up into a bunch of groups of people down here. I think we had 4 or 5 groups of
Four groups.
groups of 2. Help me with this because I was there filming, but I didn't pay much attention. Tell me how much fun that is. We got a lot of footage. Everybody built this building. They had how many hours to do it?
2.5 hours. And it was absolutely great. I mean, they all worked together. Once we started the challenge, you could hear a hush come over the entire basement because everyone was focused on their particular layout and thinking of what they are going to do. So it was really great to see all the different techniques that were used and how different the same kit could come out.
Yes.
The fun thing I got to see today is that this basement, this Ken Patterson's creative space, has everything you need. Like,
Absolutely.
someone say, "Do you have this?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's in that cupboard right over there." Or do you?
He actually has like 4 or 5 of everything.
Like
so.
everything you need is here.
You
And
have
it's
to-
really cool. It's such a fun
it's like
place.
traveling to something you've heard about. It's like traveling to the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
It's like on everybody's list. You got to get to Ken's basement. Is that okay, Michelle?
Sure.
And she, I have to tell you, Michelle is amazing. I said, Michelle, I think a whole lot of people are coming today. And she's like, "It's all good. We're good."
We're good.
So, I had a lot of fun with her.
We've had a lot of fun.
We had a lot of fun.
Yes. Anytime there's a female in this hobby,
Yeah.
it's
Exactly.
bring her on.
I've met two lovely ladies actually. There's a one young woman that lives in West Hartford, Connecticut, Kaylee Zhang. She actually is some sort of scientist, engineer. She single-handedly builds Pratt and Whitney turbine engines. She's awesome. And this weekend at Springfield, I met another lady, Tracy Boyd, who just got into the hobby and discovered it through the internet and
that's
watches your
great.
show,
Cool.
Ken.
How about that?
That's
Well,
awesome.
Shout out to Tracy.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
watching.
much.
Hey,
Thanks for watching.
Come visit.
That's awesome. Yeah, come visit. Now, do we want to bring in Walker Embry?
Hold it. I was going to talk about this engine.
You were.
Oh, this
Yeah.
engine right here?
Right
That's correct.
there. What do you got? I see a Southern Pacific
Yep.
fantasy paint scheme.
All right, so what we got here is a Broadway Limited recently released AC6000 with smoke and their Paragon 3 sound system. This is a model brought by Mitch McAdams, and overall it runs good, sounds great. The smoke, it's going to fill, like it could fill this whole basement up in 5 minutes.
How about that?
That's how good the smoke unit is. So it's also known. Well, go ahead, Lionel.
I was just going to say, is it supposed to smoke?
Yeah, yeah. Don't worry.
It is.
So that's all I had.
Thanks. All right, Campbell and Daniel, let's switch seats now.
All right.
Kellan, can you stop running your camera or just let her roll? Come on in here, Walker Embry. Oh, there he is. Great, Walker, you're here.
Perfect.
I like the T-shirts that Daniel and Walker have on today, but I might be just a little biased.
Oh,
Look
that
at
is
that.
Are beautiful. Where did they get those?
I don't know where they
great
would ever
t-shirts?
get a Colorado Model Railroad Museum T-shirt.
That's awesome. Now, you'll all remember Walker Embry as being the modeler that modeled that beautiful N-scale MKT layout. He was absolutely fantastic with his colors and his choice of scenery. It looked very prototypically correct.
Thank
we
you,
really
Ken.
loved your work.
It's an
And
honor to be
tonight,
back.
you've got your precious better half with you,
I do.
and she's doing a documentary about you. Guys, would you like to elaborate about that? Because I know you've got passion in what you're doing, and you're serious about this. You've got some very good equipment here tonight, and I've been watching you work.
Yeah, so I kind of wanted to make a film about Walker ever since I met him, just because I'm a nonfiction filmmaker and that's what I do. But there's just this level of passion and artistry in what he does that's so beyond anything that I've ever seen. And he's got these like weird dichotomies too. Like he's got this super obsessive personality, but he's not like obsessed on the negative things. He's like, this turned out great. I need more of that. I need more of this.
I gotta
And,
do
like,
it again.
It's just, he focuses on the positive, and he loves reaching new people, and it's just something that's so unlike a lot of our generation. And so I've just really enjoyed like going on this journey with him and seeing where it takes him. And also just knowing him the way that I do, seeing how it ties into his past, because there's so much Walker Embry in everything that he does, and I love Walker.
I'd
Embry.
like to say there's a little bit of Walker Embry in all of us. If we could just have some of the talent that he's got a great eye for what you do, Walker.
It's a love for the hobby. That we've all got it. We wouldn't do it unless it brought us joy, unless we love to do it. And I cherish all the friendships of everyone in this room. You guys are awesome, and it just makes the hobby that much better.
Wow, kumbaya, Lionel, Strang. This is just what you were talking about, isn't it, brother?
Exactly. And as a matter of fact, I was working on my layout today, and I said, "What would Walker do here?"
What would Walker do here?
I don't know. What would you do? Everyone's got a process.
That's fantastic.
It's very cool. I'm sorry. What was your wife's name, Walker?
Oh, this is my girlfriend, Kellan.
Kellan. That is very cool that you're making a documentary like that. Now, how long will it be, do you think?
So before some recent life changes, we were estimating 2021, 2022.
Maybe a little longer
Yeah,
now.
it might be a little longer. We're looking to get on a festival run, but definitely if you're interested, you can follow me on Instagram at Green Bench Films, and I'll be posting updates about the film.
Green Bench Films on Instagram. And do you have a website and a Facebook page too?
Yeah, my website is just greenbenchfilms.com.
That's fantastic. We certainly look forward to see what the result of this
It's
is going to be.
exciting. I didn't believe her until she ordered the camera, and then I was like, "Oh, it's going down
That
now."
camera is legit.
It
too,
is.
I must
Yeah.
say.
It's more expensive than my car.
It's putting
Yikes.
pressure on you to not make any mistakes. 'cause
Oh
that
yeah,
lens will fix
the
it.
models have to be perfect
No
now.
pressure, Emery.
Hey, Walker, would you be on my podcast?
I would love to.
Perfect.
would love
set the
to.
date. But I also want to get Ken on the podcast again.
I was on
Michelle
your podcast.
and Miss K, can you twist his arm and get him on my podcast again, please?
Michelle and Miss K, rock and roll. Speaking of Michelle, March 2019, What's Neat? Don't tell me which one. March 2019, What's Neat is coming out soon at Model Road Hobbyist. I'm just late on that one, the latest I've ever been, but she's almost finished. In that video, I talked to you about how to build a sled for your table saw. This is a device that allows you to cut lines very specifically and very cleanly through the entire front of a building kit, brick by brick. Saves your fingers. Great tool. Also, we look at the Bachmann K4 steam locomotive, which we've talked about here on the podcast a lot, but we've never talked about it at What's Neat at Model Road Hobbyist Magazine, and I've noticed a lot of people that do watch this podcast actually don't know about the magazine and content we've got over there. So I'm sharing this segment over there and showing you how I built the diorama. Great photo shoot to create the 2019 Bachmann catalog cover. And also, we've got Drayton Blackgrove. He shared with us some fantastic drone footage of the CSX engine houses and what have you. Great 3.5-minute segment of modeling ideas from above. This is the type of modeling material that we really need because it gives us all the answers on what everything looks like from the viewing vantage point of any one given layout. So it's really cool. One of the biggest segments in the video, which lasts about 20 minutes long, is a trip to Kansas City, Missouri, where we visit Stephen Priest, Joel Priest, and Cynthia Priest. Beautiful Santa Fe layout that they've got. Now, Stephen's going to be working with scaletrains.com very shortly, so that layout's going to be torn down, and I wanted to get out there and film that while the layout was still there. Thank you so much, Stephen, for allowing me to do that. And also, Michelle Kempema starts a new segment for What's Neat. What's Neat at Model Road Hobbyist Magazine. Let me get it right. Michelle starts a new segment, and I'm going to let her explain the name of it and what it is. But this is a real treat, and this is something we'll run every month over at Model Road Hobbyist Magazine.
Okay, so I travel a lot for tourism with my job that I have, and I have now a camera and a microphone, so I'm like, I'm going to take this everywhere I go. And so what I'm trying to do is let you know what you can visit when you're traveling. What are the real attractions across America that you can visit? And so I started out, I went to a convention for my job, and it was in Louisville, Kentucky. So I drove to Bowling Green and visited the Rail Park and Train Museum down there. And so that's what this interview is about. But I stopped at a lot of places there, and I'm just having so much fun. But the segment is now going to be called What's Neat on the Road. And we can I think Daniel Samuel and Austin for that name. We were standing in the cab of the 4006 when we came up with that name, so I'll never forget that. But the point is that when you travel, there are always real things to do around you. You just got to know they're there. So hopefully I find them all.
That's absolutely fantastic. As we go around the table, we're about to wrap this up. Lionel, is there anything else you want to talk about tonight?
I want to talk about, because you are, I'd love to figure out the word that I was trying to say. It's like you're welcoming to everybody in the hobby. You got to get Ron Marsh on from Ron's Trains and Things. He wants to come and be on your show, and he's a very good interview. So I think that would be time well spent. And Michelle, when you're on the road, what do you listen to?
Well, I'm now going to listen to A Modeler's Life because I didn't.
Right answer. Very quick. Rock and roll. Austin Allard, you better smile back there. I tried to get you to smile earlier, and you wouldn't say a word to us.
He's ready for steak and shake. He
Somewhere
needs a
back
7
there,
by
I see a
7.
beautiful Anna Banana and everybody else. We want to say goodbye to our guest audiences and everybody that's out there tonight. Thank you very much, Campbell Rice, for being on the show tonight and wearing that wonderful Luke Towan shirt. I love you, Luke. Lionel Strang, I think we're going to close this one out. Let me go around the table on my end here. Is there anything else on your list, Michelle?
I brought my local train show. This is the Rocky Mountain Train Show in Denver, Colorado, and it's March 2nd and 3rd, and I'm even wearing the t-shirt.
Yay.
I got one more thing. One more thing. NMRA's holding their elections. Vote Gordy Robinson.
Vote Gordy,
Worldwide
yes.
director. He's
Gordy.
awesome.
We all love Gordy. We showed a
right.
film clip of him last week. I'm running that clip right now. Joshua, good job.
Thank you.
Yes. Wrapping it over to you guys. Anything new? Anything left?
I did bring some Big Turn and Southern locomotives. I just finished them up, so if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you're going to see a lot more of them in the coming months, hopefully.
Big Turn in Southern now. So this is going to be your private HO scale layout that you're about to build now, right?
Yes, hopefully in a few months. The big life change is that I am moving to Oregon for work and for just better opportunities.
Congratulations. Although we're going to miss you. Congratulations.
I'll be back. Don't worry.
Awesome. And we look forward to the Big Turn in Southern to see how this turns out.
I'm very excited. I've wanted to do my own fictional road for a long time. So,
Joshua, you got anything left on your list?
I'd like to give a shout out to Lionel and the Modeler's Life. If you want to check him out, you can go to podcast. I listen to him every week. So there's your shout out, Lionel, and I expect the $20 in the mail.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to give a shout out to Joshua because I love Joshua and go to his restaurant, Sugarfire.
That's right.
And have some baby back ribs.
Lionel, thank you for letting me talk to Jim Scorse last night on the Skype cast that we did about 4 o'clock in the morning. Jim, I didn't know you stayed up at my hours, man. That's pretty good. But thank you so much for sponsoring the What's Neat This Week podcast, Jim. We are sold on the NCE power systems. We've gone around the table more than once and talked about the quality and how good they are and how all the other manufacturers out there use them. And tell me, Lionel, you use that on your layout too?
I do. That's exactly the system I've used in Jim Scribe. But now the difference is I've been using it for 20 years. You just started.
Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed, Ken, that you're just starting now.
Yeah.
Well, come on now.
All right, guys, it sounds to me like it is time to go run some trains. So let's close out show number 66, the best hobby in the world, and look at the wonderful people we are got to be in it. It's all kumbaya. So let's go run some trains, guys.
All right.
My locomotive.
We just had a malfunction on the other side. Oh, God. Man, this...